hope the concept of capital structure is clear to you all. Concept of capital structure is basically a proportion of debt and equity in total capital. Financial leverage also is a total proportion of debt in the total capital. Financial risk is a chance when the company would fail to pay its payment obligations. Trading on equity is a situation when a company issues more debt to give a benefit to the shareholder. Favorable financial leverage, where when we increase the use of debt, it will decrease the cost of funds but increase the financial risk, and it also increase the earning per share when the ROI means return on investment is more than the cost of debt. Now come to the next factor affecting capital structure. Capital structure, first is cash flow position. Cash flow position refers to the availability of cash in the business. As we all know, the company must consider the cash flow position means the inflow of a cash and the stability of a cash in the business itself, because the company has to pay, the business has to pay the operating cost, like the company has to pay salaries also, wages also, fixed, if the company has a fixed investment, then the company has to pay for that investment also. If the company has borrowed money from outside, the company has to pay the interest also. So all these things the company has to pay in cash only. And if the cash flow position means the availability of cash is good in the business, then the company can use more debt. The more borrowed fund the company can use, because the company is in the position to pay the interest on that borrowed fund. Clear? But when the cash flow position is weak, when the company's cash flow position is not good, in that case the company should not use debt, borrowed fund. Clear? Now come to the next, risk consideration. As we all know, when we use debt, when we use borrowed fund, it increases the financial risk, because it increases the obligatory payments, means the interest on debts, it's compulsory to pay, it's an obligation for the company. So when we use debt, it increases the financial risk. And other than this financial risk, one more risk is present in the business. That is operating risk, business risk, payment of operating cost like salary payment, wages payment, that also company has to pay. Business risk, that also company has to bear. If the business risk is more in the business, then they should decrease their financial risk by reduce the use of debt. But if a company is in the position, or the company is easily paying their business risk, the business risk is comparatively less, in that case company can increase the financial risk, or you can say the capacity of company to use more debt is increased. Clear? Next is cost of debt. Cost of debt is basically related with the interest rate, interest on debt, interest on borrowed fund. If the interest on borrowed fund is less, then the company can easily increase the use of debts. Clear? Next is return on investment. That too just now I had explained. If the return on investment is higher than the cost of debts or from the borrowed fund, then the company should issue more debentures to give benefit to the shareholder, as their earning per share will increase. So when ROI is more, in that case the company can issue more debts. Clear? After that we have tax rate. Now what is this tax rate? Tax rate, we all know, when the company earns something, we have to pay something to the government. Now if this interest on debenture, interest on borrowed fund is basically a tax deductible expense. Clear? And when the tax rate is higher, in that case we should issue more debts, because that will decrease the price of tax, they will decrease the value of tax. This I will explain you with one example. For example, a company issued 10% debenture I hope you know the meaning of this 10% debenture. Means the interest rate on this debenture in this borrowed fund is 10%. Is rupees 1 lakh, and the company's earning is 40,000, and tax rate is also given, which is 30%. Now listen carefully. If the earning is 40,000, from this earning we less interest 10%. 10% on 1 lakh is 10,000, and here earning before tax is 30,000. In this case, we'll pay tax on this 30,000, which is 30,000 of this, that is 9,000. But when the company doesn't issue this debentures, means the company the company doesn't use the debenture. In that case, the company has to pay tax on 40,000. That is 12,000. See, when the company uses this debt fund, it means the company is paying comparatively less tax. When the tax rate is high, so for taking the advantage of taxable expense, the company should issue the debt. The company should use more debts. Clear this thing? See, 12,000 minus 9,000, it means 3,000 is the advantage of tax. Clear? The company has taken advantage of tax while use of this debts, and the comparatively company will pay the less interest. So net interest payable will be, say company has to pay 10,000. This advantage they have taken, means ultimately the company is paying 7,000 on the debenture. It will give benefit to the company. So when the tax rate is high, so for taking the advantage, for paying less tax, the company should increase the use of debt. Clear? Debt capital. Next is cost of equity. Now, what is this cost of equity? Return on investment I had explained. Cost of equity is basically an expectation of shareholders. When we increase the use of debt in a business, that will increase the financial risk, and that financial risk will be faced by the equity shareholder only. And when the equity shareholder faced a more risk, then they desire to have a more dividend rate. They'll ask for the more rate of return. Clear this thing? Now listen carefully this thing. Cost of equity is the expectation of equity shareholder. When we use debt, more debt, then the expectation of shareholder will also increase. And when we use the debt beyond the point, when we cross the limit for using this debentures, in that case, in spite of increasing earning per share, see, if the return on investment is more than the cost of debt, in that case we all know that when we use more debt, it will increase the earning per share. But in spite of earning per share, the share price in the market will decrease as the expectation of shareholder will increase. They will not satisfied with the company. In that case, the shareholder will expect more, and they'll ask for the more dividend. And when the company will not be able to pay more dividend, then they will be unsatisfied with the company, and that will decrease the market price of the share. But our main motive is to maximize the wealth of shareholder by increasing the share price. So when we use debt beyond the limit, beyond the point, in that case the expectation will increase, the financial risk will increase, and in spite of increasing the earning per share, the share price in the market will decrease, and that should not happen in the business. So the company should issue debenture, or company should use the debt capital in a limit only, or up to a level only. Clear? Next is flotation cost. Now what is this flotation cost? See, when we raised fund from different sources, it costs something. Like when we issue debentures or share, the cost of advertising, the cost of prospectus, commission for underwriters, commission to brokerage, this all known as a flotation cost. If we talk about the other sources of finance, like when we take loan from a bank, from a financial institution, it costs comparatively less. So if the company doesn't want to bear more flotation cost, in that case the company should borrow the money from outside. They should use the borrowed fund, not the owner's fund. Clear this thing? Next is control consideration. See, if a shareholder doesn't want to dilute their control over the management of a business, they should not issue more equities. They should raise funds through the debt only, from the borrowed fund only, because borrowed fund or debt doesn't dilute the control over the management. So in that case, the shareholder should issue or should go to raise funds through the debt only. Next is flexibility. Flexibility means, see, when we plan the capital structure, it should be flexible enough to raise additional funds from both the sources, from borrowed fund also and from equity fund also. There should be a flexibility. See, as we all know, when we use more and more debts, it increases the earning per share and it gives benefit to the equity shareholders. In that case, what shareholder does? They issue more and more debts, and then the capacity of for borrowing money from outside, that will be decreased for the company. Means company will not be able to borrow money from the outside if we use excess borrowed money. For example, if I say the capacity of taking loan is for a company, the capacity of taking loan is only 10 crore rupees, and already company has taken a loan of 10 crore. Now the company is not able to raise fund through the debt from the borrowed fund. The company is not able to take loan. In that case, forcefully a company has to go to raise funds from the equity only. That situation should not come in a business. So while setting the capital structure, we should be flexible enough for raising the additional funds from both the sources of finance, debt and equity. Next is interest coverage ratio. Interest coverage ratio basically tell us how many times earning before tax or earning of a company can pay the interest obligation. This I will explain you with one example. If I say the earning of a company is 4 lakh and the interest obligation, the complete interest obligation on all our debt is 1 lakh. And when we calculate this ICR, the formula is EBIT divided by interest. Now what will happen here? 4 lakh divided by 1 lakh, which is 4 times. Now see, this interest coverage ratio tell us a company is able to pay 4 times. A company is able to pay his interest obligations from his earning 4 times. The company is able to pay. So in that case, the company can issue more debt. The company can take more obligation on the business. Clear this thing? Now, when the interest coverage ratio is higher, then the company can use more debt. But when the interest coverage ratio is less, in that case the company should not issue debentures, should not borrow money from outside. They should raise funds through the equity. Clear this thing? Now, here is some problem. See, if we'll say it may happen earning before tax is more in the company, but the cash balance is less. Now what the company will do in that case? In that case, the company should go for the next ratio, which tell us debt service coverage ratio, the total obligation how a company can pay. And for this, for calculation of this DCSR, we should know our earning before tax only. The earning, not before, it's after tax. The earning after tax, because tax is an obligation. Now here we have taken a earning before interest and tax. Total earning we have seen and our interest obligation, and we are saying कि we are 4 times able to pay our interest obligation from our earning. But here we are taking the actual earning of a company, in which I have taken EAT. EAT means EAT tax is a obligation only, plus interest. Interest I am adding back as I want earning before the earning after tax, but before interest. That's why I am adding interest in this, plus the non-cash expense. Non-cash expense like depreciation and the other which are not paid in cash. Now actual earning I am taking. This I will divide by the total obligation, not only interest obligation, total obligation. Like preference dividend also, it's an obligation for the company, because some preference shares are there whose dividend payment is compulsory for the company. Preference dividend plus interest. What else other obligation? It's a repayment of amount. Repayment obligations. Now this ratio will tell us the actual earning, means from our actual earning how many times I am able to pay my complete obligations. From my actual earning how many times I am able to pay my this complete obligations. So we can rely on this service ratio. That is also good. We can have an estimate from interest coverage ratio, but if we want to have a accurate or near to the accurate estimation, then we should go for this debt service coverage ratio, and this ratio tell us how many times from our actual earning we can pay our obligation. Higher the ratio can increase the capacity of issue of debt, and if the ratio is lower, then we should not go to go to use of debts. We should issue equity in that case. Clear? Higher the ratio tell us it's a capacity of a company to use more debts instead of using equities. Next is stock market condition. When the stock market is in our favor, means the persons are interested in investing in equity, then easily we can raise funds through equity. But when depression period is there, then no one is interested in investing in a company. In that case, we are dependent on a borrowed fund only. In that case, we should there is only one option. We should go for a borrowed fund, debt only. Third is capital structure of other companies. Yes, this also matters. See, for the choice of capital structure or for the planning of capital structure of our company, we should see the capital structure of other companies of same industry, because that also affect. See how that companies are doing, how much business risk or financial risk they are bearing. That is also important for the for planning for a capital structure. We should also have a same kind of business risk and financial risk. Clear? Next is regulatory framework. Yes, while deciding this capital structure, the companies should follow the norms given by the Company Act 2013. For example, if I say for issue of equities and debenture, there are some rules and regulation which should be followed by the companies while issuing shares and debentures. On the other hand, when we raise funds from the outsider, means when we take loan from a bank, when we take loan from a financial institution, there are also we have to follow some norms, and that should be followed by the companies for raising funds through equity and through debt. So that is known as a regulatory framework. That also we should consider while planning for the capital structure. I hope this factor affecting capital structure is clear to you all. in this videos we had done the concept of capital structure, financial leverage, trading on equity, and financial risk. We should know the factor affecting the capital structure, and yes, the most important EBIT and EPS analysis, means earning before interest and tax and earning per share analysis, in which we can say for the trading on equity, for that situation the company issue more and more debts to give benefit to the equity shareholders. Clear? I hope this topic capital structure is clear to you all.